This is your introduction video to a 40-day somatic soul flow for really nourishing that awareness between your body, which is so often easily to detach from when we're living around stress and different traumas that happen in our life. So we're bridging that connection between our body and our mind and our emotions and what's going on up here, so our thoughts. So this is your introduction video, and let's do this. First, I just wanted to kind of give you a run of the play of how this is going to work. So you will practice this, the following video for 40 days in a row. And it is a somatic soul flow. So what it does is it takes these physical movements and meditation and acupressure points and sound to help you find this awareness and nourish this connection that might or might not have been lost for you, right? So somatic therapy is bridging this beautiful system that we have and allowing yourself to start feeling and building this strong, deep connection between what is happening in the sensations throughout your body. And the sensations can come in different forms for everyone. Sometimes they come as, strong tingling, or maybe you have more of a visual aspect and you get a lot of visualizations when you're doing practice. So this somatic aspect can come in really a variety of forms with each of your different senses. And so this practice is just to help you start building that awareness, nourishing that connection. And we'll move through some of the different aspects of breath work and movement and moving into understanding and noticing what's happening in the body as we hold space for anything that comes. And so why do we do this for 40 days? So consistency in showing up for yourself has many effects on your body and on your mind, right? And so as we work on the mind-body connection, we want to start healing this relationship between showing up for yourself, right? So it's this really strong dedication to showing up for yourself, but it can be very small and simple. It does not have to be grandiose, and that's why we keep it at 7 minutes. So if at any time you find in your day that you cannot do the full 7 minutes, shrink it down. Do each move for just 30 seconds, but still show up for yourself, right? You continuously build this trust and this relationship to yourself, and then you can start showing up for yourself in really challenging forms out in your day-to-day life. So when these crazy situations and stress happens in your world, if you follow me at all and know my story, I live around a lot of loved ones who suffer from addiction. And so when we have this continuous, perpetual challenges, disruptive cycles, chaos, right? You're living in a lot of uncertainty, and you do not have to be living around addiction to have this uncertainty and fear of uncertainty in your life. And so what you're doing is you're using these movements to start connecting to your physical body. So you can start seeing what's going on up here while things go on down here. So it's almost like we're working backwards. Instead of just focusing on our thoughts and what's happening, we're focusing on our body, and then we're noticing what comes up here. And so I want to have you very much keep in mind that this can be an activating process, right? We are learning to feel again. This is sometimes and often very activating in our physical body when we start allowing ourselves to move and hold space for these emotions. And so go very slowly. Have so much compassion for yourself in your journey. If at any time it feels too overwhelming and too flooding of your system where you cannot come back into an equilibrium, where your emotions are settled, then I want you to stop and I want you to get professional help. What is professional help? That is maybe your therapist, a somatic coach or guide, right? Someone who can help you with some of these deep traumas and helping you reconnect to your body. It is so vulnerable of a process to start with our body and go and see what comes up in our mind. So know that going into it. This is a practice to help us hold space for feelings, and if you're not used to holding space for feelings, it can be challenging, right? So stop when you need to, and find help to help you start getting back into this understanding of your body and what's going on with your emotions when you need to, right? Give yourself permission at any time to stop and hold space for the emotions that might come up during it. If we're learning to hold space and these emotions that come up are not overwhelmingly flooding you, see how you can hold space for them, right? Because the more we can hold space in this, I call it my sacred space, which this sacred space goes with me anywhere. I can do it in hotel rooms. I can do it. I've done it in the ocean, on the sand, on top of Mount Kilimanjaro at the base camp. You can do these practices anywhere, and you can curate them to move with you in your daily life so you can keep showing up for yourself on a consistent basis, right? So as we keep moving through this process and you keep showing up for yourself, and you notice certain emotions coming up and you're learning to hold space with them in small little bite-sized aspects while you're practicing in your sacred space that goes with you everywhere, you begin to build resilience. And what does that mean? That means that you can start having a bigger capacity to handle the stressors that come in and out of your life, right? And so instead of just total reactionary living where you're like, maybe you fly into total fits of rage and anger. Maybe you go into freeze and you just shut down. Maybe you numb out everything, right? You can start noticing in your day-to-day life that you can start pausing in between this area when you have these thoughts and your reactions come out. And this is the most powerful place you can be, right? So as we build this connection between the body and the mind, you can start using this out and about. And that's the whole point of it, right? Another beautiful thing that happens, and this is totally optional, is that when you start building this connection between the body and the mind, and they're no longer disconnected, this beautiful sense of calm is what I call it, starts to come into. You start softening kind of this hardened shell protective layers that have kept you safe. So we're okay with them being here. We're learning to accept anything that comes up in this daily practice. But what starts to happen is you start to soften and you start to notice this connection to a deeper calm, right? And so that is what I call soul connection. And so you can take this practice just as a physical learning to rewire and handle your stressors more efficiently. And I invite you to just stay curious as what starts happening within your soul body too, and this connection between all three, your mind and your body, and the internal soul, that part that connects us to everyone else that's living, right? And that part has shown me this deep compassion specifically for my loved ones that struggle with addiction. Understanding and feeling this connectedness to them and not such separation has bridged this disconnect and this judgment, and has given me so much compassion and empathy. It does not mean that I do not have incredible boundaries. That also has come with the learning and the noticing process. But the judgment has started to shed away, and this deep connection to everyone on this soul level is a beautiful aftermath that I did not realize at the beginning of starting this movement yoga practice that I started. So I'm very excited to share this with you. And move to the next video if you're ready. So here's kind of the key things. I have a PDF that you can download and print out and do this on a very systematic basis, right? So it shows you in the PDF, it shows you a bit of what I've talked about here, why consistency is important, an introduction to somatic therapy, what I call a somatic soul flow, and the benefits of all of it. So that the PDF goes into that. And then it has a consistency tracker where you can keep track of your 40 days. And then it also has a spot for you to journal for 40 days, just small blurbs. And what I mean by journal is just write down something that you're noticing, a pattern that you're noticing, an emotion that keeps surfacing, reactions, right? Maybe you have these hostile reactions that you no longer want and you want to change when stress comes into your life. So it's a place to write down what's happening so you can keep track of your patterns, of your noticing of things coming up for you. And you can also start to write down what you notice happening in your connection between your body and your mind. And can you start noticing any of this as the frustrations and stressors come out, right? So it's a place to just kind of verbalize what's happening so you can kind of see what the patterns are and what's going on with you over the 40 days. I have found this to be extremely effective in my healing process. So you can go to my Instagram, Life in Flow, and click at the link in bio and it will take you directly to it, or you can go to my website, www.lifeinflow.com. You can also download it there. Okay, let's get busy. Let's do this. Sending you so much light and love wherever you are on your healing journey. We'll see you in the next video.